Fame looks shiny from far away, but what if your entire life, every heartbreak, every mistake, and every comeback played out under a stadium spotlight? Taylor Swift went from a girl on a Christmas tree farm to the most powerful artist on the planet.
I'm so sick of running as fast as I can.
But that rise came with public humiliation, brutal business betrayal, and a long fight to reclaim her voice. So how did she survive it all and still believe in love? Let's find out. This story starts long before stadiums and world tours. She was born in Pennsylvania, named after singer-songwriter James Taylor, and grew up on a Christmas tree farm. While other kids were riding bikes, Taylor was writing stories, singing in church, and learning guitar from a computer repair guy who showed her a few simple chords. Those chords changed everything. She convinced her mom to take her to Nashville with a stack of demo CDs. She was 11 at that time. She walked into record labels as a kid no one knew and got turned down by all of them. Most people would have taken the hint. Taylor didn't. Her parents moved the family to Tennessee so she could chase a dream that didn't make sense to anyone except her. She wrote for other artists first, practiced her craft at Sony ATV, and learned the music business from the inside. But she wanted more than to write songs for other people. She tried to tell her own stories in her own voice. When her development deal wouldn't let her record an album as a teenager, she walked away. It looked brave from the outside. Inside, she was terrified of missing her chance to capture those teenage years in real time. That gamble paid off. Scott Borchetta signed her as the first artist on a brand new label, Big Machine Records. Her debut album, Taylor Swift, turned real high school heartbreaks into country hits. Songs like Our Song.
And he says, our song is a slam and scream door, sneaking alley.
And Teardrops on My Guitar.
Here's a reason for the teardrops on my guitar.
Introduced a new kind of country star, one who didn't just sing about feelings, but practically handed you her diary. The industry noticed. The fans noticed even more. Taylor used YouTube and early social media like a direct line to her audience. She filmed goofy videos in her bedroom, begged fans to vote for her in award shows, and acted like the girl next door who just happened to have a record deal. Have you ever felt like you knew an artist just from how they talked to you online? Taylor built that blueprint. Her second album, Fearless, exploded. It was full of fairy tale love stories, locker room heartbreak, and the kind of romantic confusion only a teenager could write with that much honesty. It won 4 Grammys, including Album of the Year. Suddenly, Taylor wasn't just a promising young artist. She was the future of pop country. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 2009, at the MTV Video Music Awards, Taylor won her first major VMA for Best Female Video. This was her big moment. First huge award, live broadcast, nervous little speech ready to go. She started thanking everyone.
Music, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Then Kanye West walked onto the stage, took the microphone out of her hand, and said Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time.
The crowd gasped. Taylor just stood there, frozen, holding her Silver Moon Man, humiliated on live TV. She didn't yell. She didn't storm off. She just stood, small and stunned, while the cameras rolled. The backlash was so intense that even President Obama chimed in off camera, calling Kanye a jackass.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass.
For a 19-year-old artist, that night could have broken her. Instead, Beyoncé later brought Taylor back on stage to finish her speech when she won Video of the Year. It was a small act of grace that helped Taylor reclaim the moment, but the damage was done. She had just learned how quickly the world could turn a celebration into a spectacle. Did that make her retreat? Not at all. Taylor kept writing. She released Speak Now and then Red, albums full of bigger sounds and bigger risks. She wrote every song on Speak Now herself, just to silence critics who claimed she only had hits because of co-writers. She turned touring into a full-scale storytelling experience, using sets, costumes, and monologues to pull fans inside each song. But quietly, something else was changing. By her fifth album, Taylor decided to step fully out of the country box. In 2014, she released 1989, named after her birth year, and officially crossed the line from country to pop. This wasn't a tiny shift, it was a hard reset. New York replaced Nashville. The storytelling stayed, but the sound was pure pop. Soon, Taylor started performing with legends. She shared stages with the Rolling Stones, Madonna, and Paul McCartney. Imagine being the kid who got bullied for loving country music, then years later singing beside the artists your parents grew up worshipping. That's not just success, that's cultural dominance. But the higher you rise, the more complicated things get behind the scenes. Before we go deeper into Taylor's biggest fight with the music industry and how she turned a devastating loss into a win, take a second to hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's get back to the story. Taylor signed with Big Machine as a teenager, grateful for the chance to finally release her first album. What she didn't fully grasp at the time, like many young artists, was what owning your masters meant. Big Machine owned the master recordings of all the albums she made under that contract, the original versions of the song the world fell in love with. For 13 years, she helped build that label into a powerhouse. By the time 2019 arrived, Taylor's catalog made up the vast majority of Big Machine's value. She wanted to buy back her work. She wanted control of the music that carried her name and her stories. Instead, the company was sold to Scooter Braun's group for about $300 million, masters and all. To Taylor, it felt like losing her life's work in one email. She said she was never offered a fast shot at buying her masters outright. They even tried to limit her ability to perform her older songs on TV and use archival footage for a Netflix documentary. Imagine being told you can't use your own songs in your own story. Most artists would have just accepted it as the cost of doing business. Taylor did something different. She remembered that while Big Machine owned the recordings, she still owned the songwriting, the lyrics, and the melodies. So she did the unthinkable. She decided to re-record her old albums, track by track, as Taylor's version. It was a massive gamble. Would fans really abandon the versions they grew up with? The answer came fast. They did. Fans switched their playlists, brands started licensing Taylor's version instead of the old masters, and Taylor turned a personal defeat into a revolution for artist rights. Have you noticed how many artists now talk about owning their masters and contracts more carefully? That's the Taylor effect too. She took back control not just of her songs, but of her story. Soon, Taylor reached a different kind of high. Not just bigger tours or more awards, but something quieter and more personal.
You talk to him a lot more than the other two is Travis.
In 2023, she started dating NFL star Travis Kelce. First, it sounded like a joke. America's biggest pop star and one of its biggest football players. But over time, it became clear this wasn't a PR stunt. It was two people actually building a life together in the middle of all the noise. They announced their engagement in a way that felt perfect for them, on Instagram with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." It was funny, warm, and simple, a reminder that beneath the fame, they're just two people in love. They've set a wedding date, June 13th, 2026, at the Ocean House in Rhode Island. 13, of course. Her lucky number, woven right into the next chapter of her life. So what do you think is the most powerful moments in Taylor's journey? Her rise, her fight for her masters, or her choice to live on her own terms? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, because honestly, this story is not over yet. Until next time.